If the adults around a child are not modeling soft skills, that child will not learn soft skills until they need to. Which is why when I'm working with people in their 40s and they're like, I'm having my midlife crisis, I'm in transition, what used to work is not working. I'm like, I know, because you have a skill gap, and that skill gap is related to soft skills. But because your ego is so well formed, you are terrified of soft skills because that creates vulnerability. And you have to feel your feelings if you want to learn a soft skill. Human connection, belonging is not going anywhere. We need it to survive. Like, we need each other. It's not going anywhere. That is never, ever, ever, ever going to go out of style until humans are extinct. The world needs soft skills. We are now living in a time where it is no longer a privilege to learn these skills. It's a requirement. This is a conversation I have been wanting to have for a while now. I've been watching it brew. I've been having it secretly behind the scenes, and I feel like it's a full circle moment. And I want to talk about how soft skills are becoming the new hard skills. In general, let me actually look this up. I'm going to Google it. Soft skills versus hard skills define. Actually, I'm not Googling, I'm ChatGPTing, which we're probably not supposed to use ChatGPT right now, but regardless, I'm using AI. Okay. So my point of this is hard skills versus soft skills. So in general, quick definition, hard skills are the technical, teachable, measurable abilities. So I want you to think about like using specific tools or software. Financial analysis, coding, writing copy, speaking a language, running ads, building funnels. Like, you can usually prove hard skills with certifications, results and data, tests, and portfolios, okay? And then soft skills are behaviors, emotions, and relational abilities. So thinking communication, emotional regulation, leadership, decision-making, boundaries, and adaptability. So conversations is a soft skill. Communication is a soft skill. Reactions under pressure is a soft skill. How someone leads or collaborates is a soft skill. The example they give here is, can she hold a boundary with a client when money is on the line? And then it says the real truth, which is what we're going to talk about today. Soft skills are often called soft, but they are actually the hardest skills to master, and the ones that determine how much money you make, how well your team performs, how peaceful your home feels, and how long your success lasts. Part of the reason why I wanted to have this specific conversation, there's a few reasons why. The first reason why is because of the movement of AI. So I have watched this with my children specifically in education. I actually remember the first time my son, my youngest son, who was diagnosed with a learning disability or differently wired uniqueness when it comes to education. Early on, so he's 13, I started noticing him, this was years ago, starting to use verbal dictation on Google Docs. And this was like before the world knew about ChatGPT. So AI has been around for a long time, just like little slight, I mean, we've all been using it for a while and we just didn't know it was AI. Anyways, I remember when he was using verbal dictation on Google Docs, and I kept telling him, stop, like write it out. You have to write it out. Your spelling is going to be horrific. You have to write it out. And it's just like cursive, right? We still want our children to write cursive. They're not going to understand the language of cursive writing, like these quote unquote old school skills, the human skills. And I started noticing the little slips of the integration, because my kids are 13, 16, and 21. So very different generations when it comes to technology and AI. But very, very early on in my parenting journey, so when my oldest was around 4, I started getting into meditation and mindfulness and started like understanding emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, behavior. And I thought the world knew these skills. My assumption was that every adult had a requirement to learn quote unquote soft skills because those are fucking human skills, like core basic human skills. Tell me one human on earth that does not need communication skills. We need language and communication to be able to interact with each other. Verbal or nonverbal, you still need communication skills, right? We still need to learn how to interact with people. Doesn't mean you have to verbally interact with people. You can communicate with people many, many different ways. It does not need to be through language, through verbal language all the time. So my point is, these human skills are not being taught to humans, which is fascinating to me. And since the beginning of my career, teaching adults to see and understand their children's behavior so that they can better guide them, I quickly realized, oh shit, adults in general do not have these skills. So that shows up in their leadership. If they're a business owner, shows up in their marriage. It shows up in their calendar. It shows up with themselves. It shows up with all the things. And it wasn't until recently, because I've been, slow drip, slow burn, the way that I've been living, parenting, literally my marriage, my health, everything. I had this aha moment lately where I was like, holy shit. Forever and a day, I have been taught and told that these soft skills are bullshit. But here's where it gets me, okay? So my point is, in a world of AI, the only people that are going to win are the ones that master soft skills. That's it. The humans that master soft skills are the ones that can sell themselves, the ones that understand their value as a human, the ones that will create connection and belonging with others, the ones that will communicate their needs and can communicate their value with other people. They can hold boundaries, and they are going to win the game. They are going to be able to hold boundaries with their emotion, with their fear, with their resistance, with their guilt, with their overwhelm. And I'm watching it play out right now. People losing their shit about what is going on in the world because they have no idea how to manage their energy. They do not have the skill of emotional regulation, communication, holding boundaries, or doing the work required to see success because it's emotionally uncomfortable. Here's the kicker with education. And I'm going to share some personal stories. So my oldest son, who's 21, and if you've been around for a while, you understand my story in parenting with him. If you do not, oh gosh, Cole's Notes version, had my son at 18. I was single. His biological father had severe mental health issues, was a drug addict, eventually died of a drug overdose. He never had a relationship with my son. And my deepest fear was, it pops up once in a while, was that my son, because of quote unquote genetics, is going to grow up to become a drug addict, have severe mental health challenges, and not be able to function in society as an adult. And I am going to feel like I have failed at my core as a mother. And I was already starting my parenting journey young, so I already felt like a failure. So instead of retreating and saying, whatever, it is what it is, and being frozen in fear, I fought like hell. And I swung to the other side. And then I had to find, the quote unquote middle. But I was like, fuck, I got to face my deepest fears. And I just ran towards them. So very early on in my parenting, I made it a high priority to bubble wrap myself and my child with soft skills unintentionally. Meditation, mindfulness, teaching him about emotional intelligence, self-regulation, communication. And honestly, part of this too was holding boundaries with him. Because if you are raising behavioral children, if you understand what it's like to raise a neurodivergent or a differently wired child, or somebody with I'm just going to call it a lot of energy. It's a skill that you have to master to hold boundaries with their emotions because it can become very manipulative. It can feel very exhausting. But if you are chronically parenting from a place of fear or guilt, you won't hold those boundaries. And then your child will grow up to be an emotionally dependent human, and they will not have mastered soft skills. So I made this my number one priority in my mothering journey. And I'm telling you right now, buckle up. If you are not teaching your kids soft skills, we are headed in the next 10 years, your children will not be able to get a job if they have no soft skills. And everyone talks about Gen Z and them not wanting to work and, not having a lot of emotional regulation as it is, or focus, or, self-diagnosis, whatever. And I'm telling you right now, they are a brilliant, brilliant generation, but the parents that raised them are making their lives too comfortable. So before I get into my rant, I want you to understand where I'm going. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was AI. If you are not already learning about AI, you should, and you should find somebody that you connect with. And if you've ever heard me talk about my friend Callan, Callan, she runs a company called the Uncommon Business. I just love how she educates about AI. She makes it super practical, non-techy, user-friendly, and she has a boot camp coming up. And in the boot camp, she is going to demonstrate how you create AI employees. So just like done for you tasks, right? Automate your tasks and become, right? Become like buy back your time and energy by automating tasks through creating AI employees. So anyway, she has a boot camp coming up. If you want to go to heatherchauvin.com/Callan. So my name, Heather Chauvin, CHAUV as in Victor, IN.com/Callan, CALLAM. So you can check that out. But with the acceleration of this kind of coming to a head, like we're coming in hot off of 3 months in Mexico, and I'll do a life update of Mexico later. I'm not going to do that in this podcast. The whole time, my 13-year-old was there full time. My 16-year-old was there for a month, and we were homeschooling him. But I've always hated how education has worked and how my children feel about being educated. So my number one priority while educating Felix, my youngest, was let's do what's required, right? Like chip away, get shit done, but let's also do the shit you're good at. Let's increase your soft skills while we're here. Let's focus on what you're really, really good at. And so my son Felix is an artist. Like when I look at him and I say like, you pay attention to your kids and you're like, what's their talent? What's their skill? What are they good at? Not what do I want them to be good at? What are they naturally gifted at? And Felix is naturally drawn to creativity. He's a very creative thinker. His kind of medium of choice is like sketching. Like he's sketching all the time. Like since he was a little boy, he's always drawing. He hates painting. He hates it. He absolutely hates painting, but he loves sketching. He loves drawing, but he also loves storytelling in his mind, like thinking about it. So I'm like, how can I feed and foster his creativity? So while we were gone in Mexico, I found a woman who did weekly lessons with him, and he doesn't love painting, but they actually did a lot of painting together. They did some sketching, but they did a lot of like painting. So it was a love-hate relationship for him. But my point was I wanted to get him into the energy of creativity. And I wanted to expose him to that because I'm like, I want to feed the parts of you that are your strengths, that you're good at. So when you become an adult, you, number one, remember those parts of yourself. Number two, feed off of them. And I said to someone today I was talking to, and I said, because she's a very creative person, she's also a CEO of a company, but loves music. And I said, guess what? Isn't it interesting that where we are headed, you were probably taught as a child that your creativity with music and your love and desire for music is not going to pay the bills. So if you just go all in on that, you're not going to be able to live. When the reality is, I believe the world is trending towards most likely the people who master creativity will be the ones to make most money. And I think we can no longer send our children to school to learn the hard skills. This is my point. We can no longer send our children to learn the hard skills because they are being evolved so rapidly that what they're learning is not even relevant a month later. And this is where I follow a lot of people who talk about education, and there's a podcast called The Future of Education, and I believe her name is Mackenzie, and she's the founder of Alpha. It's like 2-hour learning or something. So she uses a lot of AI and technology in their schools because they have like a 2-hour learning program. And they're guides, so they don't have teachers. I'm using air quotes. They call them guides, so that their guides are focused on teaching the kids soft skills. So emotional intelligence, critical thinking, problem solving, like things like that. And she gets such pushback for the educational system because parents are like, what about this? What about this? Like the high achievement, like the A pluses and like, memory retention and when she is curating education and learning to a child's learning style and their actual innate intelligence. She openly talks about how frustrating it is that she hired, what did she call it? Like a parent success coordinator. She hired somebody for her schools that is literally the mediator, so that it's like the gatekeeper, so the parents do not get to the teachers or the guides, because this person is literally almost like a therapist to help the parent unlearn old education paradigms, because these parents want to be innovators, but there's still so much unlearning to do of conditioning and fears that we have as parents that we're fucking up our children when it comes to education. So the reason why I find this fascinating is because growing up, I was taught that I was stupid, that I would not be successful because I questioned everything. And I was like, but why would you do that? Why would you do this? And I did not understand as a child that those were called critical thinking skills. That is a considered soft skill. That I couldn't understand why adults had shitty ass communication. Just do what I said. They had no emotional intelligence, no regulation, no empathy, no compassion, nothing. I was like, but why would I do what you tell me to do? Why can't you just tell me why I need to do this assignment? What's the value? Like, what's the outcome? Like, how is this going to make an impact in, other people's lives? Like, I don't just want to check the box and do tasks. That's not me. I'm not a taskmaster. I'm a critical thinker. I'm a creative problem solver. I've always been that. I was never nurtured. So my point of all of this is that soft skills are more important now than they've ever been in your marriage, in your health, in your calendar, in your connection with your children. But the reality is, this is no longer like, oh, I'll do the soft skill work when I hit a rock bottom. It's if you don't learn them as your child's guide, your child's teacher, your child's literal freaking role model, your child is not going to learn these skills from anyone else. And they need them to be successful as an adult, because no longer will working your ass off and putting your money away to send your child to post-secondary education and putting them in debt. So they're not going to have a job without critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. And parents are left in this weird ass gap that we, and myself included, are watching our children go, I don't know what I want to do or be when I grow up. And I'm like, guys, stop focusing on the job, the job, the hard skills. Start focusing on your soft skills. Start focusing on how to pitch yourself. Start focusing on how to sell something. Start focusing on how to be in communication and relationship with other people. Because when you go out into the world, you are going to have to be interviewed. You are going to have to be competent. You are going to have critical thinking and problem solving skills. You are going to have to show up on time. You're going to have to try to be organized or utilize tools like AI to organize yourself. And my point is, I don't think it's a privilege anymore. I don't think soft skills are a privilege. I think it was very, very easy to hide behind hard skills. Oh, I'm this. I'm super busy. I'm just super busy checking tasks off the list because I'm a hard skill professional. Like I see this every day. Hard skill professionals who are like, I have this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. And corporate is unsteady. You need soft skills in order to grow. When people are coming to me, and oftentimes it will be a woman in a seasoned profession watching her profession change, and she is like, what the fuck? What the fuck am I supposed to do? And I'm like, what I find is when women are coming from corporate, their biggest challenge is soft skills because they never had to learn them to succeed in a corporate setting. Because if they got to a leadership role, they sure in the hell didn't really need empathy or compassion. I mean, yes, these things are nice and they're trendy, but you didn't need it in order to be successful. You could climb the ladder stuck in your masculine. You didn't need to know how to sell your value as an individual and like have emotionally intelligent sales conversations. You just chop wood, carry water, check, show up every day, do your due diligence, what's required, and then boom. But then when it's shaky and you're like, OMG, I don't know how to sell my value. I don't know how to sell my worth. I don't know how to package that. I don't know where to find qualified leads. And all of these require a conversation. They require visibility. They require emotional intelligence. They require you to sit and potentially be rejected. They require you to go, what's in it for me? What's in it for the other person? And how do I pitch them on an idea with getting them to see and understand that I can be of service, but what do they want? How do I position this conversation of what's in it for them? Like thinking about other people. All of these required soft skills, all of it. And when I go back to like when I first saw my son using, I feel like it was during COVID maybe. And I saw him verbally dictating on Google Docs. And I thought, oh my God, he's not going to be able to write. He's not going to be able. The funny thing is watching him use AI now, I'm like, he is ahead of the curve with AI because he was exposed to it early. But because he has me guiding him with the soft skills, he's going to be okay because he's going to have the future hard skill, strategic skill of understanding technology and AI, but he's going to have the human skills so that he can sell his value, have connection, quality relationships, navigate the world, understand his big emotions, understand his behavior, feed his desires, feed his soul. And when I observe children like this, and parents are like, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, 9 out of 10 times it's the parent is white knuckling and parenting from a place of fear because they won't let go. And I'm like, it's not all about you. It's not all about you as a parent. It's not every behavior is a reflection of something you did to fuck up your child. But you have to understand that like they live in a completely different world than we did. And we have to be willing to say, what am I afraid of? Where's my part here? And you have to be willing to learn fucking soft skills. I'm sorry, you do. If you want to have a deeply connected relationship with your child and you do not want them to like leave home when they go off to college or post-secondary or whatever it is, you want them to return home. You want them to want to come back home for the holidays. You want to have a quality relationship with your children in their 20s and 30s and beyond. You need soft skills. And children only learn soft skills from modeled adults. That's it. If the adults around a child are not modeling soft skills, that child will not learn soft skills until they need to. Which is why when I'm working with people in their 40s, And they're like, I'm having my midlife crisis. I'm in transition. What used to work is not working. I'm like, I know, because you have a skill gap, and that skill gap is related to soft skills. But because your ego is so well formed, you are terrified of soft skills because that creates vulnerability. And you have to feel your feelings if you want to learn a soft skill. I just believe wholeheartedly human connection is going nowhere. That's the beauty of that. It's never really trendy. I mean, I think we're going to probably see more of that human connection, like a good quality hug. But human connection, belonging is not going anywhere. We need it to survive. We need human connection for survival, attachment. We need it for survival. Like, we need each other. It's not going anywhere. That is never, ever, ever, ever going to go out of style until humans are extinct. It's like needing water to survive and food. My point is the world needs soft skills. They don't want to learn them until they need to. But I think we are now living in a time where it is no longer a privilege to learn these skills. It's a requirement. That's it. It's a requirement. I see the educational system breaking down because of it. The ones that are thriving right now are the ones that are teaching soft skills, whether it's, some homeschooling community or AI-based education or alternative education or whatever it is. They are now realizing soft skills are the new hard skills. And I also see this with my own children. I see it with my oldest, who's 21, who had severe learning disabilities and behavior shit, and took an extra year to graduate high school, and we lived hell on earth during COVID with his mental health and between these ages of 16 to 19. And I mean, if you go back, I podcast about it a lot. He's thriving now. And the reason why he's thriving is because he's living out his soft skills. And he has said to me, Mom, you have set me up. You've set me up for success, and you did what was required. And I'm really proud of you. And I'm grateful for how you showed up for me. And in the moment when I was integrating soft skills, I didn't call it that back then. I felt like, fuck me, this is so hard as a parent. I just want to take the easy way out, disassociate, and not feel anything. I just want to numb out and not feel anything. Why can't I just be one of those parents that numbs out and refuses to give a shit? Why do I care so much? And I'm just convinced that if life fucking sucks sometimes, because emotionally sucks, is because you're playing the right game. That's it. I believe you're playing the right game if you are emotionally uncomfortable. If you are emotionally comfortable, but you're just bored and bitter and resentful because that's your comfort zone, and you're like, bump, 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 you're not taking responsibility, you are not living out your soft skills. And peace and freedom and ease and abundance will come to those who have soft skills. But the scary, 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 emotionally uncomfortable part of that, especially when it comes to children, is living out soft skills also requires you to let go of education in the traditional sense. Maybe organized sports are no longer your thing because your children are burning out from the competitive nature, and you're exhausted and resentful and financially depleted. And maybe you don't know who you are beyond this life, and that's okay because you need a soft skill. So I think AI is not going anywhere. I think it is like the internet when the, .com boom started. I think it's like the Google boom. It's actually interesting to watch it. I vaguely remember when Google came out. I think it's fascinating to watch, and, we can have the feelings and thoughts about it all we want and how it's going to fuck up the world. And, but just like dinosaurs, you either pivot and survive or you don't and you go extinct. And I think a lot of people are absolutely terrified to go extinct right now in the sense of needing to pivot in their business or their career, and corporations, shakier. And I'm a huge fan of having an entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, what was it, 10 years ago, everyone started talking about the side hustle. And I was like, why is everyone needed fucking 9 to 5 plus a side hustle? And I think it was like the slow movement of embodying the identity of an entrepreneur and making money in multiple ways. It doesn't need to be go to school, do this, get this job, da, da, da. It's like always be a student, always be in a learning mode. So another reason to love AI is just be willing to learn a skill, because what you resist will persist and grow bigger. And you can resist it all you want. You can hate it, but it's fucking coming for you. And embrace a little bit of it. Just be curious and open. And again, that's what I love about Callan. So if you do need like someone, you're like, well, who should I learn from? I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of Callan and her team. Go to my name, Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/Callan, CALLAN. I like take all of her boot camps. I've spent one-on-one time with Callan. She is an amazing soul, and I love the way she teaches. She's actually really big into like spirituality and all the things that I teach here and soft skills and all of that. She values that on her team. And yeah, I learn a lot from her every single time. So take her boot camp. And I want you to just reflect on like what soft skills you can really continue to lean into. You know, which ones do you need to learn better? And again, just a friendly reminder what a soft skill versus a hard skill is. So the hard skills are the technical, teachable, measurable abilities. Example, using specific tools or software, analysis, coding, writing, copy, running ads, running funnels, like, done for you stuff. Like I will do that. I'm a this, I'm a that. Tests, results, certifications, data, like those are all hard skills. The soft skills are how you show up. Behavioral, emotional, relational abilities, communication, emotional regulation, leadership, decision-making, boundaries, adaptation. And this directly affects how much money you make, how peaceful your home feels, how well your team performs, your marriage, relationships, and how long your success will last. Whether that's health success, financial success, relational success, you need soft skills to thrive. End of discussion. And if you're like, what the hell does this mean, Heather? Where do I go from here? Again, go check out Callan if you want AI education. If you want more of me, you want the next step after me, then go to heatherchauvin.com/call, CALL, book a call with my team, or join the accelerator. It's the first best step. It's heatherchauvin.com/time. And we dive into all of this: time management, energy management, relationships, teaching you the soft skills for every area of your life. Go out into the world today and just ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And how can I use a soft skill to feel a little bit more in alignment? That's it. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know you're implementing. Okay, bye.